Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Thank you for clicking on this one. This is going to be a little sensitive and I'm going to try to take my time and say this as clearly as I possibly can, as I have really thought through what it is I have felt about the difference between self-sabotage in a very subtle and submissive way and disguising or convincing yourself that it is the process, the circumstances, or the test that you must go through in order to grow in some way. Okay? This has been something that I've heard for a while, and I wasn't quite able to put my finger on what that was. When someone expresses an immense emotional outburst, a deep sorrow, a sadness, just a realization that it is what it is, the circumstances. And you're so fired up and you're so like, this is it. Oh my God, like this thing is happening. It's been happening, and you're talking through it, you're thinking through it, and it's all this emotion and force behind, okay, now what, right? But then somehow you lose that momentum. Things may settle down, things go quiet, and for whatever reason, that same push and burst and within you weren't able to keep that fire blazing. So you kind of revert, or you kind of just like, well, maybe, if I just come to peace in terms with, maybe this is a lesson. This is, something I need to grow through. Maybe there's a silver lining at the end of persevering, sacrificing, pushing through this so that this thing can change. Instead of changing yourself, instead of, looking at yourself and putting yourself as the focus, you put this faith and this belief in everything around you sorting itself out. And all those things may be true, but in the meantime, hold on, I hear TT. She's gonna keep crying until I get her. Stop that. Autumn, did you take Moo down? Or you're taking her down? I'm making a YouTube video, so you need to do that. I heard TT at the door crying. That's why I opened it. Did you fold those clothes up? That is the main priority, with or without Moo. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Train of thought. Okay, so let's get back to some setting the stage of this example. We know that we can't control other people. We can suggest, we can, use different communication art forms and different things. We know that we can't change the landscape and things around us. All we can do is change ourselves. And if there has been something that has been gnawing at you and impacting you negatively, your emotions, your peace of mind, your headspace, your productivity, your happiness, your inner joy, your inner compass, your focus, all these things, that you are responsible for at the end of the day. If all these things are being compromised with these certain individuals, or with this situation around you, you have to maintain that initial push to change yourself. You really do. And not in a lashing out way, not in an impulsive way. It takes some time, it takes some strategy. You have to come up with a plan. I get that, but you don't lose that drive. And what I have seen beautiful women do is continue to settle, not make the change that they initially felt burning in their soul, and then they just say, well, I think that, with time and, finding God and, growing as a person, all these things, all this fluffy talk that really just says, so you don't want to do anything now. So now you're not going to address the elephant in the room now. So all of that you expressed and cried about and lamented about and was anxious and depressed about, it's still there. It's lying dormant. But for right now, we're going to just bypass all that. That is only setting yourself up for an emotional roller coaster and another volcano type of situation where, you know, you're not putting out the fire. You're not addressing the issue, but you can address the issue, right? You can only address yourself. And how do you change anything in your world? You change you. You change your approach. You change how you show up. You change how you talk about it, feel about it. You change how much attention you give it. You change how you've been moving, how you've been acting, how you've been pouring into this problem that's got a hole in the bottom of it that's not getting any better. You step away, you resign, you pull back, you set boundaries, you apply for another job, you use all your vacation time if you have to, and your sick leave too. You send that nice email. Sometimes you need to move in your silence and not say anything at all, and that is your answer. Sometimes you need to just say, nah, no more. Sometimes you need to say, nah. Sometimes you need to just be like, look at the face, read the face, but doing nothing. So, and it might take time. You might feel this inner peace and like you've done some work, you've done some soul searching, but really you're just putting a Band-Aid on it. Really, you're just pacifying this this monster that is going to continue to get bigger as you feed yourself to it, your energy to it, your presence to it. If you all don't know anything about, let me Google it, anime, and I don't even think it's anime, but there is don't give me no iron. It's called Spirited Away. I don't want to, offend any Japanese, Korean, Asian inspired film and art. I have no idea the origin of this movie. I just know I love it. I've watched it a million times. I know nothing about like the background. It is a 2001 film written by, what was that man? Oh, okay. All right. It was Japanese. Who was it written by? It said who was directed. I want to get this right. Hayao Miyazaki. Anyway, I'll show you guys the album cover, and I'll show you the character of the movie. Okay, I'm gonna make it big. I'm getting to something, y'all. I'm getting to something. Hold on. How do I make it big? Okay. This is the video cover. Oop, the glare. And in this movie about a little girl that goes to this magical world, there is this creature called No Face. And it is originally its presence. He follows her and he's kind of weird, but he's very harmless. Originally, he doesn't pose much of a threat. Here he is right here. You see, that's No Face. But what ends up happening is that No Face goes batshit crazy in the bathhouse and starts eating, and he grows like 20 times bigger than his original size and becomes this monster, this gluttonous monster, eating everything, starts eating people, and he's chasing the little girl. So that visual comes to mind because No Face, because he was feeding himself, and it started with just this obsession, he became this thing that like just went crazy, and he had to be stopped. And the only way that he could turn back was she had to get him out of the bathhouse, and she had to make him vomit up everything, the people, everything. He had consumed furniture. I mean, just everything. It's a really interesting scene. And then he goes back to normal. So you've got these things in your life that, that are there in the background. They can be things if you don't pay attention to them. Like, she acknowledges him early on when he starts following her, but he's harmless, and she also doesn't like give too much to his presence. So that could represent as a visual anything in your life that, all right, it's a thing. It's something you can't change. It's not going anywhere, but you're not going to lend your power to it to make it turn into this monster that now you really can't control. So I would use the no face example in my life as, okay, they say that global warming and the Mother Earth is doing all these crazy things. They say that the political climate is doing all these things. They say that school shootings and crime and gas prices and rising prices of all these things should impact all of these things in my day to day. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I have to protect my peace of mind because I cannot jump out here and change these things. These things have been since the beginning of time. And if you've read any kind of spiritual text, you know that in these stories they paint the picture of how different prophets and beings and angels and gods and goddesses have come to earth over and over and over again and have left it the same way it was. They didn't overturn, all of the things that were wrong. As simple as it seems to be, like, why can't you just get rid of the government and everyone can be happy? The government should be for the people, blah, blah, blah. But use this as an example because if you don't turn your head to that beast and feed that beast cannot affect your personal life and your goals and your passions and purpose and all these things. So we will use, as mothers, as women, as Black women, as women of color, as women in America, as women in our 30s plus, as women who, have fought all these different stigmas and labels and preconceived notions and all these things, we can use no face as the dating culture or, how men view us and how they relate to us, because that's a big part of the conversation right now. So, but if you don't ever feed that beast can never consume you. A breakup can never consume you. Becoming a single mother can never consume you. Dating again and navigating that can never consume you, because you know that you are enough. You are an individual. Your life is full. You know who you are, and it whether you have them or you don't, it doesn't matter. They don't shape your world. They are not your universe. You are your universe. We can use money and goals and ambition as no face. Some women choose to feed that beast with, what did I hear it called? It basically was referring to, and I don't know where this term came from, but basically it refers to Black people, Black women, I'm sure especially, feeling the need to climb the corporate ladder, earn degrees, and have really demanding jobs and positions to be somebody, to have purpose, to have fulfillment, and to give themselves a sense of self-worth, when we know that even though those things are great, having a degree is great, having a high-paying job is great, and these things do all the things for us. If you don't, it doesn't mean that you are not just as worthy and just as special and just as talented and gifted and all these other things, and that you can still have that life. Okay? I forget what it was called, but the grind and hustle culture of being a girl boss and working 2 jobs, and your third job is your part-time entrepreneurship endeavors, or that book you're writing, or that consulting thing that you're starting, or that baking thing that you're starting, and you're burning yourself as far as like exhausting yourself. The candles that both stick, that's what I'm trying to say. You're not getting enough sleep. You're not finding a healthy balance. You're trying to do it all, and that's just not feasible. But you think that by hustling and grinding and working hard, you'll be able to get what you think you're looking for, when really you have to slow down, work smarter, not harder, to reach the same goals. So it's not that you're any less ambitious. It's not that you're any less like you want it bad enough, but you're trying to set it up so that you don't exhaust yourself. The man that stays in the marathon and never stops for water and to refuel and all these things doesn't mean he's any more passionate than the next guy that's like pacing himself and being smart about, okay, like I got to do what I got to do, what's best for me, and then get back in the race. Get back in the race, because running yourself ragged, you still can't win like that. There's no way. They don't do it in them NASCAR races. They have pit stops there too. They have a whole team dedicated to getting that driver in that car back in the race. But you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Brand new time, everything. So we have to use these same examples in our own lives, and by thinking, using what we are as women and our femininity as the secret sauce, because we don't have to do the same things that men do to get things in life. The formula is very different. They do it one way, and we're trying to adopt their mental, their stamina, their strength level, and all these things. So back to settling. You think by settling you're being gracious, you're being obedient. You think by turning the other cheek, or like, okay, I'm just going to let this sort itself out, you're doing someone a favor. And that's just not true. Sorry, I got my windows open. That's just not true. You need to continue to always maintain what you need to do for yourself first. What you need to do for yourself, and move hell and high water to do that. And don't worry about who you leave behind, what it looks like, or what they're going to say, what he's going to say. Why are you switching up on me? You're acting brand new. Okay, well, this is what I need to do. And though it may not be easy, what's going to be even harder is looking back and repeating a year, 5 years, 10 years of your life with these things, these no faces all around you that now you are feeding, and they're getting out of hand. But you are still there. You are ride or die. This job, your church, maybe your neighborhood, whatever. Where in your life can you look around and say, I need to make a change? And it's not going to be the type of just let it be what it is. I need to remove myself, distance myself, and put myself first. Because this thing of just, I can be happy. I can find happiness here. I can settle down here. I can make it work here. That's not what we're called to do with these things. That's not the same type of, trusting God we're talking about. So I hope that encourages someone out there. I actually have to run. Thank you for watching this one. And if you have any questions, happy to help. Happy to listen if I can, where I can. And until the next one, peace. Bye.